been here. And the turnaround that the TEC is in the middle of right now, I also don't think that um, we would be where we're at had you not been here. So, um, yeah, your day-to-day presence is going to be very, very missed. It's hard, but I'm also really very happy for you. Also, I think it's great, and it's really important for all of us to just see each other developing and growing, and that just makes me really happy. So, I don't know if you. One of the things that is always on the plate is you like joining the advisory network, the TEC advisory network. So that would be a great way to just like keep you plugged in a meaningful way. And I'm hoping that that happens.
Hey, Tom. Uh,
Hey there.
oops. Yeah, I'm hoping that happens too. Um, the conversations happening in the TCAN are at least the ones I've been sort of involved in some way are always very interesting. Sort of just, I think it's a good way to help also just get direction from to the TC. And I think from now a different perspective, I think I can continue to bring something valuable to the table.
Yeah, well, you and me, we were just chatting about this, and I also think this idea of the Tiken would be great, and also try to find some other ways for um, collaboration in the future. I mean, I share everything that Gideon has said. You are gonna be truly missed, Isaac. And I really appreciate all the work and all the hours that you put into the TEC for this almost 2 years. Um, like we were saying, we just kind of like started at the same time, kind of like both in transparency. So we've gotten the chance to see all the transformation and the evolution of the TEC, and we've been able to be part of that and work together on that. So that's just an experience that I personally appreciate a lot, and yeah, just to tell you that it's been great to have you as a teammate. Like we were saying, we were able to learn a lot from each other, and I think that's just really valuable. So yeah, just want to wish you all the best and in this new opportunity. I think it's really important to for you to continue doing what you like and to continue developing. So yeah, just all the really best. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see each other around uh, still. So yeah, that's what I wanted
Yeah,
to say.
thanks. uh, and yeah, again, I guess I can really thank everybody here and some others that are not here to for just yeah everything. Um, and then I guess on more practical terms, well, you the three of you guys know, Nate is sort of hopping in and out. There's no rush. I already started doing some stuff with them. Um, but some of them are friends, so it's and they sort of know all the situation, all that. So it's not like um, I'm in a rush to hand over anything. Um, but reality is we do have to think about that and see how just see how that plays out and if we need some more people, which we probably do, and how are we going to source to find them and yeah, all that. But well, I think we can. I'll probably just chat about this with you, Bear and Gideon, um, and just see, what do we do, how do we do it, um, and with that, I think we can move on to the next topic probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. Let's do it.
Cool. Well, next thing is I'm going to move this up a bit. Um, no, no. Next thing is Retro PGF. Just wanted to do a quick check-in. Um, I was just checking right now. We are 1 second. We are in 26 ballots, so that's pretty good. We are in definitely. Um, Not entirely sure how it works, but I think batch holders also have to manually input the amount of tokens to distribute, and then there's sort of an average. So I guess there's no real way to know how much we'll get till that's announced. But given how big is the honeypot, I would hope for a decent amount, which is pretty good. The academy was, or well, is a bit behind, but they just got to 17, um, which is, I believe, the minimum. I don't know if it's inclusive of 17. Hopefully it is. That would mean that they will also get a grant from RetroPDF, which is also pretty good. I think that I do think that if I'm not mistaken, people can remove their ballots. So hopefully, the academy gets a few more. Just hopefully, no one removes their ballots from either project. But just I don't know, just a quick update. It's funding is always good information for the commons and the whole T space.
It's
Um,
also worth mentioning, just to jump in quickly, it's also worth mentioning that
mhm.
probably half of the ballots aren't even in yet, or half of the badge holders haven't started voting yet. So I know there's just 2 days left, but I think that these last 2 days will be will have the most activity.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw some stuff. It's quite a bit of work uh for batch holders, and I think it was close to 1,000 projects. I don't remember. Um,
600 and
but yeah,
644.
oof, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Not
it's really actually a huge amount.
I want to do a quick shout out to Tam for pulling together that token engineering list on OP because that was huge. I think that really helped us to stand out, to the whole group to stand out. But I think it's also really nice um, for the TEC and the people in its orbit to be seen as lifting the whole field. So that was really great, Tam, and I know you spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah. Hopefully they I don't know. There's a lot to improve for the next round. Hopefully it's easier for next time because it's a lot of work. Um, cool. Well, next thing is the round three. I guess just a very quick update. Give me 1 second to open the manager. But I spoke with Carlos from Gitcoin earlier today. Um, Pretty much just a check-in on check-in slash quick retrospective on how the round went. I gave him some feedback. Um, um, Pretty much, I'm looking here at our notes. So, for example, doubling the matching pool didn't exactly resulted in doubling contributions or anything. In fact, this round we got a bit less donations than past round. I don't know why the manager is loading. We got less donations. We got a bit more projects. We were also a bit more flexible this time. Um, I some feedback I gave him was things like, well, first of all, dates like making a round in the middle of the biggest Ethereum event is probably not the best decision. A lot of people was distracted, me included, of course, during the connect. Um, that's one, but also the biggest one I shared with him was dates. Like it's very hard to coordinate with sponsors, with Gitcom themselves to get to collaborate on promotion stuff and yada yada yada. When we had something like a month of notice, pretty much, in a month in when I what I mean with a month is a month for the round being open, but there's of course a lot of pre-work announcements, yada yada yada. We pretty much didn't had time. Uh, I remember we got the date and like just a few days later, like the following Monday or something like that, we already had it announced and all that. It's just very quick. And the other thing I shared with him was with regards to sponsors, just in general, that I think we all operators, but at least us, would benefit from any kind of support to for sponsors, whether that's something as simple as the playbooks they make. They make playbooks for operators, they make playbooks for marketing. Maybe a playbook for the sponsors would be great, because we learned a lot from the things that they expected, that we just didn't know. um, so starting from that, but also I remember on the first one we spoke about potentially even having insurance or something like that. That's a bit more problematic, because they themselves have to raise as well. um, so I would be happy with just a few tips and tricks and things like that. He shared with me one or two links about for grants program. One of them is for another layer 2 that closes on the 10th, so that's pretty tight, but we could look into it. Um, and yeah, some other stuff was about expectations around. So pretty much we had 20 projects participating. First round was 14, and second round I think was 16. So definitely the biggest round so far. Um, donations, we had 5,000 bucks. Last round we had 6,000 something. So that's a bit less. And I actually don't remember the number of contributions and contributors, but I don't think it matters as much, because at least last round we were attacked, so I don't think those numbers are real either. And then I don't know, just this is pre civil analysis, of course, but the biggest project was Common Stack, which reached saturation point. And I think the following one was, what was the following one? Okay, Symbol with 10%. Um, in general, the round seems to be pretty even-ish. The projects that applied last got less money. Uh, that's what I expected as well. Also, most of the projects that applied last minute were also pretty small. Um, and yeah, pretty much that. I don't know if there's any questions or.
What's your estimate on,
Okay.
Isaac, what's your estimate on when we will be able
Mhm.
to finalize the results and start sending out payments?
Um, well, I'm not sure when Arbitrum is when Ocean is going to send the money. I sent a message to Cassiana yesterday. Occasion with them is a bit slow, so we'll have to see. Arbitrum, they said probably it's somewhere around 2 weeks after doing the KYC. I haven't done the KYC yet, so I'm hoping it to be as soon as possible. And then for civil analysis, Gitcoin usually takes 2 weeks, more or less. And hopefully Sean has everything ready to run the boost immediately. So with that, the sooner would probably be 3 weeks, more or less. Also, well, December is very slow, so maybe mm, mm, with holidays and all that, maybe that's a bit later. But 3 weeks, that's probably best. Okay, well, I think then we can move on. Let me change my screen back to Notion. Here. Okay, then we can talk about the OP migration. Maybe you want to take it off, Tam or Bear, that are more involved.
Sure. Where are we with the OP migration? Let me bring up our Notion. So there is an a vote up now. I assume everyone in here has voted already. It is a vote to give funding to the technical team to complete the to complete the technical migration plan dress rehearsal, sort of a testing of the plan before then they will put up another vote in Tau voting to do the actual migration itself. And this is important just because it's important for people to know that this vote is the first vote, but then there will be a second vote, which will actually, this is sort of a community signal vote. So yes, the community wants to fund this technical team to then sorry, I'm trying to find. Okay, I think it's fine. Oh, thanks. Thanks, NT. That's the one. So if you haven't voted, do vote. Let's just have a quick look at where we are with it. This vote is essentially what the community will be looked at as a community signal. Based on this vote, we will request an exit from the water partnership, as well as start to disband laser tag. I mean, we're still planning to do it, but this will sort of give us the official green light to do it. So it looks like it reached the minimum approval, which is great, actually. And then the next vote will actually be more, it won't be a funding vote. This is actually a funding vote. The next vote will actually be to do the execution itself. And so the next vote will be more crucial in order for us to pass it. Let me bring up what else is going on. The reserve currency just. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Will the next
No,
vote be a snapshot, or is that going to be a Tau vote as well?
No, it's a DAO vote. It's a DAO vote to give the DAO permissions to execute the migration plan. So it's a technical requirement. In fact, the DAO wouldn't be able to migrate without that last vote. And if I look here, I'm going to just share my screen here. So we're here. This reserve currency decision is done. I didn't update the progress in there. I should drop in. The decision was essentially to go with Rocket Pool staked ETH. So that will be in the next technical migration vote. Sam and his team is working on DAO front-end voting. The migration and architecture post is done. So let's even put this into done. The Guardians vote is done. We have the Guardians. See who they are. In fact, do you want to tell us who they are, Bear?
Sure, yeah. In regards with that, well, yeah, I still need to update that, the forum post. Well, in regards with this vote, I was a bit confused because I wasn't sure if we had to meet the same requirements for quorum, like that 10% of token supply, and how to. And I would assume that we do to meet it, but for some everything seems okay in the Snapchat vote. Everything's passed. So I'm not sure, but again, if you count manually all the tokens that people voted with, we don't meet the quorum of that 10%. I think the 10% it's around 160 k of tokens. It's a little bit below there on a bit more right there. Yeah, minimum quorum 10% of the total token supply. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this has happened before when where a vote closes, but we haven't met the quorum if we manually count the tokens. So I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused. We do have the guardians elected, like there were actual 7 people. That it's Tam, Sam, Griff, Phil, NT, Gideon, and myself, and 3 reservists: YGG, Juanca, and Nate. But again, I'm not. I don't know how to tell our official result or not. So this is something I wanted to bring to the call to see if anyone has any answers to that.
Where are the numbers?
So on Snapchat there, I just counted like the tokens for each individual person on the list, like they're like votes, all the votes, like you can see yourself. And so I started adding like the 15K, 55K, 52K, 19K, and that sums up to 150 something. So a bit under 10K that we still would need to meet the quorum. That's the way I did it. But again, I don't know if that's necessary for this type of approval voting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I think it's unfortunate because it's for every snapshot and for everyone snapshot, we need a quorum of at least 10% of the total token supply. So if we didn't have 10% of the total token supply, then unfortunately we would socially, it's not really enforceable, of course, but socially we would consider that vote did not reach quorum, so it did not pass.
So is this more of a socially norm? It's nothing like technical that Snapchat would like throw us a message saying, "Oh, you didn't meet quorum, cannot proceed." Is it more like this?
Correct. It is social. It's not something that's programmed into Snapshot.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the question I had. So if that was the case, I mean, last night I tried to contact Juanca and some other people, made an announcement to try to reach that 10K. That it wasn't also not a huge difference, but we just couldn't make that one. And it was a bit confusing because I think on the other type of voting that we use on Snapshot, you can see how much tokens have been submitted, so it's easier to look at the 10%. So I think that was also another reason why we missed this.
Mm.
I don't know. We pretty messy. The process we resubmit it and ask people to vote again, and then you have these other that are also live. I don't know, a bit frustrating, to be honest.
I mean, can't we just use this as an advice process and say, oh, yeah, this is the kind of the group that we want to have in, and just go with it? Since it's not a formal execution of this. This is just kind of signaling and getting information. And whether we meet the quorum or not, I don't think really is that important. More that we have a signal from the stakeholders that are involved. And I mean, the people that voted are the stakeholders that have been involved. And yeah, I think it's just advice process in my opinion.
What does everyone else think?
I think it's really unfortunate that I just wanted to be super clean with this one because of the nature of this vote. So I was actually moving it over to my LLC to vote, and I hadn't moved over enough tokens at that point. Otherwise, I don't think we would have run into this problem. But what I would say is maybe a modification of what I think what Nate's saying is actually good, and maybe what we could do is like take these results and say, here, based on that first vote, these are the 7 that emerged, and then these are the backups, and then just do a straight up like yes no vote to approve. That could simplify things and make it pretty quick. That's just one idea.
Yeah, maybe another thing, it's probably just bundle this one with another boat. Like, if we are going to require another boat to migrate, we may as well just, append this part to that boat and have the two mean the same thing. Like,
Wow, you're
I
full
don't
of
know,
solutions
after
today. I think they're both actually very good
Yeah.
decisions. I mean, very good solutions. And both make sense. Essentially, it's more of like a ratification of this first signal. Which do we do? Sorry, Sean, did you have a opinion, or do you want to voice? I don't know if you were here for if you just joined. I'm sorry. I'm seeing you now.
Hi, Tamara. Yeah, I feel I think what Nate was saying made sense to me. Like the results are pretty clear here, and we almost had quorum, and I think we can just go with this as a signal, as an advice process. I don't feel super strongly though, and I did join just about 10 minutes ago, so yeah.
And what do you think
So
there?
I guess yeah. So the question would be: would there be any other votes that we could where we could incorporate these votes? Be of the migration, could that be the one? Because I'm trying to think of others. I'm not sure. I mean, that could just to create another snapshot vote, like Gideon was saying, just yes or no, a straight yes or no.
Yeah, I like Gideon's idea of just ratifying it and just
maybe
saying,
that'd
hey,
be nice.
yes or no.
Yeah.
All of the votes that we really want to make sure we're clean on, this is probably the most important one. Maybe aside from the actual migration, but like if we were to ever get into a situation where somebody was trying to hold us ransom or some shit like that, one of the legal tactics that they could threaten is they could pour over stuff like this, and if things were not completely according to our governance, there would be a hole, So I think it's probably better to be super clean.
So maybe then to have another vote, like to maybe just a yes or no vote on these 7 people. Yeah, would be the cleanest option. Okay.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
so
to play devil's advocate for a minute, but isn't the cleanest option to redo the vote? Like, we didn't reach quorum, we need to redo the vote. I know it's not, it's a little egg in your eye, is that the right thing? But if we really wanted to do the cleanest option, then the cleanest option is, oh, we didn't hit quorum, we're gonna do it again. Rather than, I like the other idea, and it's easier to vote yes or no than it is to rank people. Like I didn't like ranking people at all. I was like, everyone should be a guardian here. So
I think the
I
problem is
actually,
that the ranking actually it was absent, right? Like I think the approval
sorry,
voting
yes.
scheme is the problem that we currently have implemented. I'm not sure if there's other approval voting schemes that are available through Snapshot, but we may want to explore that.
I think the other viable option would be there's one that's called quadratic voting, that you basically can add 1 or more votes to each person, and then that way, that's what I understand, right? That way, you're not gonna get like with this approval voting, you get like the whole amount of TEC tokens that each person is getting allocated. So that way, I think it's more like one vote, or has like a more fair weight in terms of individual votes, if that makes sense. But again, it's also a bit of uh, supposition here. I haven't tried it. Also, this was the first time I tried the approval voting, so not sure what's the best. But yeah, I think I agree with Sam. Probably the cleanest option would be just to redo the vote again, and so we don't leave any space for any future problems. I don't know if people would like to give it a try to the quadratic voting to see how that goes, or you go.
I was gonna say it does make sense to redo the vote, and I also I want to ask, what's up with ranked choice voting? Is that not available? Because I remember doing ranked choice voting on Snapshot before, unless I'm mistaken.
I do too. Yeah, we've done it before. I'm not sure which vote it was.
So it was originally ranked choice voting, but the way ranked choice voting works is it ranks your choices, but it only shows one winner. And we didn't have a way to show the top 7 and then the next 3. So in fact, that's the vote that Bear first made. And then once I voted, I realized there was only one winner. And then I kind of panicked and was like, oh my God, it's not going to work. I mean, in theory, we probably could have exported the data and run a ranked choice voting algorithm to figure out the top 7, but that was a little bit more scope than we were prepared to do. So we looked for another alternative, and Bear found this alternative, which is approval. So you approve 7 people, and that's how. It's also not clean because in theory, nothing's preventing people from approving more people or less people. So there's plenty of room for error. But with the time that we had, we thought better we just keep going forward with this.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yep.
I honestly think that the yes no vote with the 7 that we do have up there may be worth doing. Just because I don't think it takes anything away. I think just ratifying is enough. But yeah, it's just a separate proposal saying, hey, these are the 7 we propose, yes or no, and that's, here's the 3 reservists.
I also think it's a solution, but it just doesn't feel like if we want to be like squeaky clean, then we didn't reach quorum, we have to redo it. I feel like it's the right. It can't be like, oh, we didn't reach quorum, but here's our decision, ratify it, yes or no. Like logically, that doesn't feel correct. Versus if we didn't reach quorum, we have to redo the same vote. We can't not reach quorum and do a different vote. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So we just need to do better outreach for voting then on this one, right?
Well, I think Gideon wasn't able to vote because he was in the process of moving some of his tokens, and I think with the same people voting plus Gideon, I think we would be fine. And if not, then we can reach out to more people as well.
Okay.
So I'm really sorry, Bear. I feel like I screwed this whole. I screwed up this whole vote thing. Like, let's do ranked choice vote, and then as soon as you launch it, I'm like, no, ranked choice vote. But yeah.
Oh no, don't worry, Tom. I mean, I think we didn't have the experience with all of these type of votings, and also with what we were trying to look for of having 7 people. So I mean, there was a chance for these things to happen. So it's all good. The important thing is that I think it's a bit of a burden for people. I don't know if there was people voting on the first vote besides you. I think probably Juanca, but they might have to vote for the 3rd time. So it should be okay. So I'll set up the vote today right away, and we can all vote again. I'll just do the same thing, approval voting. I don't want to try another thing and realize that it doesn't work. So let's just go this way.
Okay, great. Great, cool. And these dates are not updated here, obviously. And then the covenant vote.
Yeah, that's been another one with a bit of an adventure. I was supposed to post it yesterday, and I tried, but I realized, well, Isaac was able to explain me that you have to do it through a different way. So create like an IPFS and then use the, what's it called, the EVM CRISPR to do something else. I don't know. It was a bit of technical work to do. We were able to do it, but then we also messed up on the title of the proposal, so we had to cancel that one. In order to cancel it, I wasn't being able to do it, so I had to text Sam for some help on how to do it, and he had to challenge that proposal in order to cancel it. And now it's already canceled. It's been finally canceled. And there the vote, it's already live on the Gardens. It's vote number 37, I think. So it's just a matter of, it's also in forum. Yes, just letting people know that one there. So we should be good. That's the only part I'm missing.
So this is a good thing to vote on now?
Yes,
Vote number
that's a good
37.
one. That's the only one. Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's the only one that should show up. The other one, it was already canceled.
Cool. Whew, okay. So we just want to keep track of this community vote to make sure this passes. Oh no, it's already passed. It's going to already pass. That's great. Okay, so that's good. So it is still on my plate to communicate to laser tag and water. to to prepare for a likely exit from water, and then to discuss how we disband. I was thinking about this earlier today. I think it makes sense to sort of do advice process with laser tag and then create a forum post talking about the dissolution of laser tag. So it's sort of the first round of advice processes with this group, of course. The second round of advice processes with laser tag, and then the community advice process. I don't think we need a vote. I think we should just make it public, be transparent, is what I mean. So I don't think it needs a vote to disband the laser tag. I feel like laser tag should have the autonomy or the agency to dissolve themselves. But it's something that we would have to be transparent about how we do it. And that's why I think it's sort of like, yeah, okay, so that's my thinking about that. I honestly think we are in real risk of being able to launch about migrating in 2 weeks. My main concern now is really our technical readiness. So it really all depends on the testing and whether the testing is going well, or if we run into difficulties with the testing. And I know that Sam would love to have some people help him with it. People who can help, move things around in a multi-sig and kind of be I think the Guardians would be a good group that we can coordinate to have some time where we do an actual dress rehearsal as if we were doing the full migration. We do a small migration with, we migrate some of the funds and just go through the process together before we actually do the migration itself. So that's where we are with the TEC, with the migration to OP. Anyone have questions or thoughts they want to share? No? Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last part. It cut off.
Oh, I cut off?
Oh, I think I did. I just couldn't catch that last part.
Oh, just wondering if anyone has any questions or thoughts to share about the migration.
I've got one, Tam, which is, did we reach a conclusion about whether or not we want to just hold the laser tag and the water TEC in the common pool? Because I think there are some good reasons for just holding TEC in the common pool, but I think it would be worth just clarifying.
I don't know that we've made, I haven't made the proposal for how to dissolve laser tag. What I would assume that everything from laser tag would go to the common pool. That's what would there be another option?
No, I don't think so. I guess the question is, what do we do with those funds? Do we just keep them as because I think they're all in TEC. Is that right? Let me just think.
Here's the.
I'm pretty sure that they are. And I'll just the reasons why. Well, we don't have to take time on this, but I think there are some good reasons to continue to just hold some TEC that we could talk about later.
There's about 58K of TEC in laser tag.
Yeah, and the water one is that I think that's denominated in TEC as well, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just throw that out. Maybe when you're pulling together I'm happy as you're pulling together the proposal to the laser tag folks. Happy to collaborate or review or whatever that's helpful.
Awesome. That is great, Gideon. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can go ahead and go over some of the TE events for the month of December. I wanted to, if that's okay, to move on. Is that cool? Okay, so we have the Token Engineering Public Good Series. There's going to be 2 scheduled for this month. I'm finalizing dates for those. One is with Rohan Mehta on CAD GPT, and another one on the subject of DPIN with Euros, which is a decentralized infrastructure, public infrastructure networks. So they go through kind of a different token model process, which is really interesting, and I think would be pretty fascinating for people to listen to. So that'll be neat. And then the big question I have, I'm still looking for somebody for the month of December for our community call. We do have the holidays coming up with everybody, New Year's, Christmas, and everything. The last Wednesday of the month, which we are anticipating on having our community calls on December 27th. I'm wondering if that is a good date to have that call, and should we have some type of holiday considerations, hosting kind of a a holiday event for the TEC. And yeah, and so that's one question. And then the other one was, I have a proposal that I'm working with Octopus on, and Nate from Eat Sleep Crypto. They each have their own kind of podcast and show that they've been trying to spin up. Been having trouble getting audience members to actually go to their pages and things like that. And so an idea I had, and talked to Bear with it briefly, was that we could all consolidate the 3 of these shows hosted on the TEC page for Token Engineering Commons, to actually host multiple different types of content shows focused on different areas, where Octopus is going to be focusing on, like, math and kind of the general philosophy within token engineering. And then Nate Eats Sleep Crypto would be on tokenomics, and then I'd have the TEPG series. So we would have this consistent amount of content being produced from the TEC Twitter page, and then figuring out ways to actually kind of tie their organizations into it that are token engineering related. So that would be the Token Engineering Gnomes, which is a group that Octopus started, which is really interesting. And then, of course, the tokenomics Eats It Crypto Nate is doing. And so I'm wondering if this is a good idea, or if anybody has any hesitations or thoughts regarding that type of approach towards just making kind of the TEC a place to constantly keep their eye on.
I just think it's an amazing idea. Yeah, just by hearing it, it really excites me, and I think it could bring a lot of new people, and the people that we're already getting with all the events that you're doing, Nate. I think that's just gonna grow with this, and I think this could also serve as a sign for us to think about the events as a bigger priority for the TEC, something that we could actually grow and invest a bit more on. I think the way you're thinking of it totally makes sense, to start with Twitter and go that way. But then after that, I think there will be some other options and more opportunities to start thinking of, if we are able to do this right. So yeah, just super excited.
I think it's really cool too. I mean, one of the things I like the most about that is you're drawing on the natural enthusiasm of other people who are going to be doing this anyway. So we don't need to pay a lot of money. It's more our role is like helping to amplify what their existing passion. And I think for an entity like the TC that doesn't have a lot of money, it's a good role, right? It's a great win-win. So I think that's really cool. And the other thing I'll throw out too, I've been talking with a handful of folks about this, is that, with the migration to optimism, I think it's going to be really important for us to be more active and more noticeable within the optimism ecosystem. And so thinking a little bit about these events, Nate, that you're doing, and how they can also serve, how we can kind of like pivot some of them at least towards the optimism community and getting them really excited about token engineering and like why that's so important as a big part of their portfolio of public goods investments. And that'd be cool to think about some of these events serving that purpose.
Yeah, for sure. I really like that idea, and I think that as time goes, we have some of these individuals who are going to be creating this content, and this would really allow us to do 6 to 8 kind of really good curated spaces each month, which would be really cool to see, and I think that might be very interesting. The big obstacle that I see having is kind of how we brand it, almost like an aesthetic. You know, I still have trouble with the creative aspect of it. Of like, hey, here's how can we reproduce these spaces? Because the spaces aren't great for actually re-listening to like later on. I've attempted to make a couple of videos from my first 2 episodes that I've uploaded to the shared drive in token engineering. However, without video and just audio, it's very difficult. I think it'll get better over time, and the interview process, but also being able to kind of share a common aesthetic to distribute. And I know Ephra is kind of on the peripheral. Acid is gone a little bit, but having somebody be able to do design well, it's not a strong suit of mine, but I just that is kind of one of the obstacles that I would like to see, is just being able to reshare this content to the public, and utilizing our YouTube a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think we need to start thinking more on that, and I also agree. I think a good branding for this series of events could really bring a really good push to this initiative. And I don't think it has to be that complicated or that expensive even, but more of a creative approach, and try to make it also replicable, right? So we can do it ourselves after, similar to the work that Efra did for the what was it? I don't remember exactly, but like a pop and a couple of designs that he did that we can after edit. I think that was really smart. So something similar we could do. And no, it sounds really, really, really cool, Nate.
Cool, thank you. And if you have any idea of like speakers for this month for the community call, that would be really awesome. Just trying to rack my brain for who would be a good holiday speaker for token engineering.
Yeah. Maybe I'll think about that. I guess one I have 2 last things, and then we should probably wrap up. But the 27th, I would be a little bit leery. I just don't know. Personally, I won't be here, but I don't know how general that is for people like the 27th. And then the other thing is just like going back to the other thing I was saying. It may be that we have 2 audiences that we're serving. One is like the more technical token engineering crowd, and then the other is the public goods folks and end users who need to, it's like token engineering for dummies kind of thing, although we wouldn't probably call it that, but it's like it's aimed more at like helping the rest of the world understand what the hell this is and why it matters, so like having kind of like these 2 audiences, that latter audience is just going to be so important for us as a re-grantor and as a channel or funnel for funds and getting it into the field. So I just mentioned that as something to be thinking about for the events.
no, that's really important, I think. And one of the big things that I have a problem with right now is the community call. The last community call was fine. However, I feel like it's kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to say, like, what is the audience that we're trying to reach with these community calls, and if we need to get stakeholders in there, what's going to bring those stakeholders into the room? I think this is a big issue that I'm grappling with, is like how to approach the community call a little bit better. I know we stated at the beginning that we kind of wanted to, not worry about having a wide audience. So we have, a bunch of people who are just dropping in, but maybe that is something that we want. I think we just haven't had consensus on whether we want to start bringing more people into the Discord, or if it's okay to have it as a small group and people just coming in, and those who are interested in getting updates from the commons to listen in. Or should we really be pushing for an expanded reach?
Yeah. I think that this ties into the SWOT analysis that Bear is starting, and then the marketing and engagement stuff that I'm hoping to then tie on top of that. Because until we actually answer those questions, I think we're going to be revisiting this question over and over. It feels like there's some foundational things we need to figure out. And I realize that also makes your job harder in the short term, flying without knowing that. But I think it's important that we figure that out fundamentally.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, like I we can keep going the same way until we can figure out exactly how we want to approach it. Then we can adjust accordingly later. But yeah, I think it's going fine. We had very minimal guests in the last community call, but I do think that the people that did show up were genuinely interested in getting updates, and I think that we served that purpose pretty well. And I'm not hating on it. So yeah.
All right.
But that's it for me. Yeah. Is there anything else that we had on the list?
Yeah, I don't have the agenda opened on Notion, but I think we're good. I mean, we're already 10 minutes over the hour. Maybe just open the floor to see if there's anything in particular that people would like to talk about. If not, maybe we just call it a day. All right, I think we're good. Yeah, well, thank you guys. It was a bit of a shame that Isaac, we couldn't say bye to Isaac. But yeah, I guess we'll see each other in some upcoming calls. Okay, well, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Sure.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.